Good morning, Hilton Baptist Church. Welcome to the next installment of our devotional series on the book of Revelation. I thought before I got into our passage for today, you might all like to know that Tycoon Dimba was discharged from hospital on Sunday and he is home. Please pray for Nonkululeko and Tycoon and the family as they look after him because he's still pretty weak, but it's great to hear that after a month in hospital, he's finally home. Our passage for today is the fourth of the seven churches, the church in Thyatira, Jesus' letter to them. And it's probably the most difficult of all the seven letters, and I have to say it was a little bit tempting to skip it and go to the next one. But having said that, there are three really helpful things that I gleaned from this passage, Revelation chapter 2, verses 18 through to 29. And the first thing I wanted to share with you today was that Jesus has eyes that are blazing fire and feet that are burnished bronze. And that means that he sees us, that he sees all of us, that he sees even the parts of us that we've kept hidden from everybody else. His eyes are like blazing fire. And secondly, his feet are like burnished bronze, which means he can trample on everything that is evil. But it also means that he'll chase after us if we've run away from him. Jesus sees us as we are, and he runs after us wherever we've gone. The second thing builds on that. He sees us completely. He sees our deeds, he sees our love, he sees our faith, he sees our service, he sees our perseverance, and that pretty much means that every part of our relationship with him, he knows. He knows our actions, our good works. He knows our heart. Sometimes we can do the right thing, but we can do it with the wrong heart, and he knows that too. He knows our will, he knows our perseverance, he knows us. He knows the real state of our relationship with him. He knows how we put it into practice. And so you can fool your pastor, you can fool your friends, and you can even fool yourself. But you can't fool Jesus. The great thing about the church in Thyatira is that they were doing pretty well. Jesus knew them, and he knew them to be a church that were growing in their relationship with God. Their deeds were greater and better than they had been at first. May that be true of each of us. May we always be growing in our relationship with God. But thirdly, and more of a challenge, is that he knew that there was someone in their midst who was leading them astray. There was someone who was challenging them to compromise. He calls that person Jezebel. And I doubt that was her real name, and she might not have even been a woman. She was someone who was leading the church people to compromise their faith. I want to ask you today, is there somebody in your life who might be helping you to compromise or tempting you to compromise? That might be the better way of saying it. Someone who is a family member who maybe poo-poos your relationship with God and just wears you down. Maybe it's a friend that is just causes you to do things you know are not right, and you know you do well to have other friends, but you just can't rid yourself of that person. It might be something even more subtle than a sports team that keeps you from God and actually reveals your heart to be more interested in that sports team than himself. Is there something or someone that is causing you to compromise? That person in Israel was Jezebel. Jezebel was the wife of Ahab, and she brought the worship of Baal into Israel. And she did everything in her power to get the people of Israel worshipping Baal. She said you can worship Yahweh as well as long as you worship Baal, but actually she did everything in her power to get rid of those who would worship the Lord. And most against her was Elijah. And she did everything she could to get rid of Elijah, and Elijah was quite scared of her. But Elijah got it right. He said, there is no God but one. You can't worship two gods. You have to focus on God and Him alone. And so I think that's the challenge of the story to us. Who is first in your heart? Is there anyone who's leading you astray into compromise? Jesus says to you, I know you. I see you as you are. You can't hide it from me. But I want you to follow me all the days of your life. And if you do, I will give you the morning star, which is a reminder that even though things might be dark now, dawn is on the way, and there's nothing the darkness can do to stop it. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.